They tell you to eat like a giant child. I'm not working out. Well, I feel like I'm 75 years old, man. My number's been called, like
Yeah.
I'm not in charge of my time here on earth, but I want at least my wife and kids to know I did what I could.
Okay. Hey, everybody. We're here today with Luke Holderby. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do, family life.
All right. Sounds good. Luke Holderby. I'm married for just about 25 and a half years now. We've got three kids. I got one at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. That's our oldest one. And then our middle son is a senior in high school this year. So he's trying to decide where he's going to go to school next year. And then our daughter, she'll be a freshman in high school next year. So she's in eighth grade this year. I'm a pastor. I'm also a licensed clinical social worker. I do consulting for therapy with early intervention for social emotional concerns and needs. I also spend a lot of time this part of the year. I'm a volunteer basketball coach at our local high school, our boys basketball team. Obviously coaching basketball, but a lot of just awareness of mental health concerns, cognitive strength, trying to help kids be learn to be a little bit more resilient, how to persevere through things. And that kind of came through actually kind of how I came to you guys, honestly. My whole life, coaches have always been a big part of believing in me. I was kind of a odd guy, but was, very loyal, very into whatever I was into. And so a lot of people mentor me, stuck up for me. Coaching to me has always been something that I greatly enjoy just because somebody believed in me in that kind of like safe world. I had been helping a little bit off and on through some younger age things around here. Some friends of mine that are in pretty competitive levels of basketball coaching and basketball. I really enjoy it, but obviously in my profession and what I do with my life, there's not time to, be the head coach of something like that. It's not something that like I really desire to be, but I do love encouraging coaches. I love helping out. I guess it's been about 4 or 5 years ago now. I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon rectal cancer. Towards the end of that journey, the varsity boys basketball coach here, I'm in El Paso, Illinois, not Texas,
Okay.
much
Never heard of
smaller
it.
and much colder.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
right, man. I'm right in the center of the state. So I'm right off of Interstate 39. We're 2 hours south of Chicago and about 20 minutes north of Bloomington, Illinois, which is the headquarters of State Farm Insurance and Illinois
Okay.
State University's in Normal there. So just in the Midwest here. So the varsity coach had reached out to me and said, "Hey, when you're feeling healthy, I know you've mentored some former players of mine that have gone through some difficult things. And I'd love to kind of add that piece to the coaching staff. And I know you've been through a lot. So if you're up for it, when you feel healthy enough, I would love to have you join our team." Also, when I started the cancer journey, I stopped shaving. I've always had a baby face. I was probably in my mid 30s before I stopped. I had to start shaving more than 3 times a week. And so my facial hair does not grow quickly, but when it does grow, it just kind of became this new look, I guess, or
Yeah.
whatever. And according to my oldest son, I've never done anything cool in my life, which I would agree with that. But there is a story. I shaved my beard one time for my wife for Valentine's Day. We're up at Mayo Clinic for one of my 6-month checkups for cancer. My wife was emphatic. She didn't want us to spend any money on Valentine's Day, try and do stuff on the cheap. And so I was thinking about something. I know she complained all the time about my beard.
Yeah.
And so I brought all of my stuff with me. I got up early that morning, went into the bathroom of the hotel. I spent like an hour, like slowly trimming that thing, taking pictures of the like saying goodbye. Then I woke her up, like clean shaven again. I was like, "Happy Valentine's Day." She was
Ah.
like, "Yeah, I don't know." She did not like it. So
Yeah.
the beard had to come back. So
Yeah. But it looks good.
well, thanks. Yeah, so that's just kind of been it's kind of been a little bit of my journey is along with the pastoring and helping out in the community, helping with social emotional, those kind of things is pretty much what I do. And then yeah, I love just being in the gym and at games, helping young men that are going through difficult things, encouraging them, and then guys that are succeeding, having their back. That's pretty much, about me. And the beard has become this thing. It's funny. Everybody's like, "There's that beard." And like I was at a funeral the other day and there was a bunch of people I grew up with my time. I had no idea who I was.
Yeah.
They're like, "Who is that guy like over there?" Like kind of looks familiar. It's been kind of a fun journey. And that
That's
time I shaved it, that my wife was like, "Yeah, I don't know." My son was like, "You look so much younger, Dad." I was like, "Thanks." He's like, "That's not a compliment." So I was like,
well,
"Okay." So
that's
I
what I
guess the
always
beard's
liked
the
about.
one cool thing I did.
Yeah, I like being able to hide what you were talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, because and there's one guy that I saw that I worked with when I was 16, and I saw this guy. It must have been maybe it was less than 10 years ago, and I had the beard and everything, and I said, "Hey, Craig," I said, "You don't remember me?" He said, "Yeah, I do, Eric." And I don't know how that man remembered me from like
Yeah.
from the time I was 16 till like 30 years later.
Yeah.
Actually, more than 30, 35 years later, but he knew who I was. But most people, like you said, you can hide with it and if you keep
Well,
your
and I've
head down.
lost, yeah, and I've lost like, I don't know, I've lost like 80 pounds too. Because when I was going through the cancer stuff, they were really serious about me having lifting weights and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So I hired a personal trainer and started eating different and stuff like that. So when you put those things together,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, people I knew my whole life growing up, I could
yeah,
stand right next to them. Sometimes I mess with them when they walk by. I'll be like, "Oh,
yeah.
later, Mrs. So and so."
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool.